Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my Artventure. My name is Chris. I'm an artist and I love to oil paint. And here I'm showing you my process of painting this little fox. Now, in the previous episode, I showed you the foundations. So naturally in this one, it's going to be the modeling stage. We're going to build up the layers, build up textures, really work on the colors. Let's start making this guy alive. So we begin the modeling stage by reworking the dogs. I've made a mixture, which is my go-to black, of ultramarine blue and burnt umber. And I want to make sharp edges around the eyes. Now this is what I call my focal point, where I want the viewer to spend most of his time looking. So going around the eye, the pupil, and pushing that black to the darkest possible. Working with the iris, I'm making almost like a gold color with a mix of transparent yellow oxide, a dash of transparent red oxide, yellow ochre, and titanium white. I'm playing with contrast, the dark and light around the eyes. That way, it will capture the viewer's attention. With the ears, going back with that dark and just flicking it in to that almost white paint. It's just a flick of the wrist to make it really soft. I won't say blending it in, but I'm really trying to look for the illusion of fur. Now it's not only the flick of the wrist that's giving me this illusion of fur, it's also the brushes themselves. I use brushes from Rosemary & Co, and I must say they are brilliant. These are the classic brushes, classic flats. It's a mix between a number 1, a number 4, and a number 6, using almost like a hog bristle. It will give a lot of texture, and by giving small dashes with the paintbrush, it will build up almost automatically the illusion of fur. So honestly, these brushes to me are like a godsend. Have a look in the description. You'll have a link to their web shop, and really go and check them out. We're now working around the bitey bits. Moving with the lips, I'm going to emphasize once again the darks. They do have black lips, and they don't really get any sunlight. It's the angle that I've chosen. So they're going to be black. And of course, it's almost a perfect contrast with the very light grey on the snout. So you're going to really see them coming up. The lips are not just a black line as well. I want to give a bit of dark fur that's around, as you can see now with the brush strokes, using this number 1 flat, just a touch, just touching the surface and pulling the paint slightly will give me that illusion that I'm looking for. Another example is here on the eye, a little flick of the wrist, and it's pulling the paint as I wish. I mean, the bristles themselves fairly coarse, but it's that's actually going to give it to me. If I use a soft synthetic, there will be hardly any brush strokes. To me, the soft synthetic will be perfect for portraits, human portraits, where here I'm really looking for texture. Another question you might be asking is, why did I not go around the eyes before? Why do I start the eyes, go to the ears, go to the mouth, and then come back on the eyes? Well, for the simple reason is the medium I use is Liquid Original from Winsor & Newton. Now this accelerates the dry time. When I go painting, I paint in sessions of 4, 5, can even push it to 7 to 8 hours of sessions. So they are long. This product allows me to have enough dry time between the zones. When I paint with the eye, it's now wet. I will go to the ear, then I'll go to the mouth. There's a couple of hours that's passed in between. When I go back to the eye, it's just dry enough that I can rework on that area. Now, of course, if I want it to be dry, I will wait the next day. But it's enough for me to continue. As you can see here now, back with the mouth, I'm pulling the paint over a bit of the black where I was painting earlier, but it's just dry enough for the white paint to go over it and give that illusion of the fur that's over the lip. With the bottom jaw, I was actually readjusting certain areas and I want to make under it darker. That's why there's a dark gray. And I know perfectly well that using this brush that's giving me all these textures, I'm pulling down the paint. As you can see, I'm pulling down the light gray to actually make the fur become the front layer. I'm really making an illusion for it to look real. With the nose, very similar principle to any kind of painting one would do. Go back with the darks, start with the darks. Really with the nostrils, it's the darkest of dark. There's no light that actually will go into the nostrils, so it's pure black. And around the nostril, I've actually added in a slight bit of white, just enough for it not to be pure black. On camera, you can't really see the difference. But in reality, if you actually look at the picture in real, you would see the difference. And now I'm moving around in the nose, I'm adding a bit more white to vary my grays. Of course, they mustn't be monotone. And using, with the little flick of the wrist, just to give a little bit of fur and make it real. Moving towards the back of the fox, I'm selecting areas where I want the fur to be relatively dark. I'm thinking once again a value, but I'm also thinking of something else. When I do the fur, I give almost like a rocky motion, back and forth. But I'm also pulling the paint, thinking about how long is the fur. Around the neck, the fur on the fox is actually longer than if it's on the top of the head. So my strokes are longer. It will all bring that illusion. If you give short little strokes all around the neck, it becomes short fur. Now moving a bit higher on the head where the fur is shorter, you can now actually see what I mean. Where the fur is short, I use short strokes, and when the fur is longer, I use long strokes. Match the length of the fur. Well, that's it for episode 2. This is still awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, this is the main thing. If you do paint in a different way, you know, let me know. Put it down in the comments. I'll have a look. And we can talk. I mean, I'm very eager to learn new ways of doing things. this is just how I do it, okay? And of course, episode 3, well, it's the details. That's the fun bit. It's where everything comes. Really comes alive. Brings in some of the magic. So have fun. Just get out there and go and paint. Go and enjoy life. See you in the next one. Bye.